think for a moment how it would feel to never get triggered again. Well, let me tell you, you have the power within you right now. And today we are going to unlock it by unveiling the secrets to the art of non-reaction. I am Ray, and I have spent many years mastering the art of non-reaction. Today, I will share with you how to master the 3 most important areas of our life in which we are always getting triggered: our environment, our thoughts, and our relationships with others. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to overcome the biggest challenges you'll face and the proper mindset to have that will allow you to get triggered less and less and less until you don't get triggered at all. This is exactly what has worked for me, so buckle up. What if you could be in the most disgusting, filthy, horrible environment and yet still have the power to remain completely at peace? I bet you didn't know this, but there is an extremely controversial and extreme sect of Hindu monks called the Aghoris.
I see. Why do... Maybe we just, like, somebody distracts him and then I just leave. Let's see where it goes. We can be polite. I can be very polite about it.
They engage in many acts in which most would think are taboo, such as eating human flesh, meditating upon dead bodies, and not hitting the subscribe button. I meant to say, and eating and drinking out of human skulls. You know, like they used them as bowls, and they ate out of them. Please, support the channel. These things are part of their sadhana, or spiritual practice, and it helps them grow closer to God by removing their attachments to this world, this cruel world. In other words, they practice non-reaction by exposing themselves to things that most people would find disgusting. And now we will use their secrets for our own personal gain. I too have practiced Aghoris sadhana, although it was never my conscious intention. The house that I've been living in for the past few years has been like poop fertilizer that has nurtured the growth of my spiritual awakening. For a while, there was almost always hundreds and hundreds of flies everywhere, all the time. There was cat pee and poop on almost everything, trash and garbage everywhere. Sometimes we went without electricity and water, showers and toilets. Needless to say, the house was not the most pleasant experience. However, I continuously reminded myself through this experience that my inner state is not reliant on my outer reality. I would continuously get triggered and triggered. For a while, I was always in resistance to this circumstance, to my environment. But I knew in the back of my mind that this was the perfect environment for my spiritual growth. Even if I didn't like it, which I didn't, and don't. Now, you may not have such an extreme experience on your hands, or maybe you do. Us degenerates, we stick together, you see. But if not the case, this applies even if it's just you're not exactly where you want to be in life yet. The essence of this teaching comes down to the same point. That is, resistance to reality as it is. When you resist the current state of your life or your environment, you give your power away to forces outside of your control, and you become a slave. The challenge is, life will always provide to you the exact situations that will trigger you the most. But this is a good thing, because these situations provide you the opportunity for spiritual practice. They are the catalyst for your highest spiritual growth. We must come to realize that life is not happening to you, but life is happening for you. Life is always providing us exactly what we need, even if we don't like it. So the key is to no longer see our current life situation or our environment as a problem, because that is an illusion, but to realize that God, life, the universe is your guru, and that where you are is exactly where you need to be. Keeping this truth with you will bless you with great peace, because you will know that everything is working out in your favor. It may take a bit of trust at first, or faith, but after a while you'll understand the way that God works. The more time you spend with a friend, the more you get to know them. And the more you will realize that, oh, okay, everything is under control. Knowing this, you will naturally let go of the need to always react to everything. Now imagine if you could have the most disturbing and repulsive thoughts and still remain non-reactive. You see, it was actually my negative thoughts that led me to my spiritual awakening. I searched for relief from this mind prison for many years, and somehow the spiritual teacher Muji found me. By listening to his teachings, I came to understand the most important thing that any human being will ever realize in this life. That is, the true nature of what I am. A quick backstory. One fateful day, I had taken some pills at a rave while listening to electronic dance music. Naughty, naughty. After the rave was over, I went to go sleep in my car, but unfortunately, I began peaking in my drug experience. I had a flood of realizations wash over me. I realized that I could have literally overdosed with ease, and that I would have thrown away my life for what? For nothing. In this stream of consciousness, I realized that I had believed my whole life that I was a good person. But in this moment, I could not think of one single thing that was good about me. You see, when you have your identity of who you believe you are, when that is absolutely destroyed, you are forced into deeper inquiry about who you really are. Who you were no longer exists, because once you see, you cannot unsee, and you have to realize a new identity. But through the teachings of Muji, I realized that the person I believed myself to be never actually existed in the first place. It was merely an idea, a thought in my mind that I believed in. You see, the challenge of not reacting to our thoughts is that we have strong attachments to them because the identity of who we believe we are. What you find is that thoughts always attack us personally. They attack our family, they attack our health, our future, what we've done in the past, what we have yet to do, what we have continued to do, how we're not good enough. But all of these things are only relevant to you when you have strong personal identity. What Muji teaches is that you are not your body, you are not your mind, you are not your personality. Newsflash. But here's a simple practice that you can use to discover this for yourself. Firstly, anything that can be experienced must have two requirements. There must be an object of your experience, and there must be you there to experience that object. So you begin to remove your identity with any of the objects of your experience, because you know, well, they cannot be you, because then who would be there experiencing them? So you continue asking yourself a series of questions. Can I experience my body? Do I experience my mind? Do I experience thoughts? Do I experience my changing personality? And the conclusion that we all come to is that, well, we cannot be any of these things. So then what am I? Now you're asking the right questions. I'll just spoil it for you. What you will come to find is that you are the unchanging awareness behind all of your experiences. And this is known as consciousness. Consciousness is the pure, non-attached, and non-reactive state. Consciousness transcends all experiences. Therefore, no experience, no thought, no person has any influence or effect over consciousness whatsoever. It is a state of eternal freedom. And once you come to this realization, you have become enlightened. Namaste. My spiritual practice has been, okay, I go out and live my life, and I get triggered by things. And in that moment in which I am triggered, I return back to my natural state as awareness by realizing the fact of who is getting triggered. Why is this trigger arising? And what you find is that it reveals an attachment to the mind. And so in that moment when we return to awareness, the attachment falls away. Because when you are aware of something, when you are aware of an object, you create separation between yourself and that object. That is literally the definition of non-attachment. But what happens is that because we identify with the mind, we attach our consciousness to our mind. Whenever we have crazy thoughts, our mind is pulling us all over the place, you see. Whenever we have experiences or people coming at us, we get pulled all over the place. But you see, consciousness remains in the state of the unchanging. So you have the power right now to remain as awareness, to observe and watch all of your experiences unfolding, and to not react one bit. So whenever you experience any negative thoughts, or you start overthinking, or even when your circumstances are negative or somebody tries to trigger you, the practice is return to that state of awareness. Just observe. You will naturally create non-attachment and gain the power of non-reaction. The more you practice remaining as awareness, you practice observing, the less you will react to any experiences that you have, whether a thought or out in the world, and the more free you will become. Now imagine how free you would feel if no person could ever bother you again. Well, now you will be able to, because we are about to learn one of the most important spiritual teachings in the whole universe. You see, the great illusion of the universe is the illusion of separation. For our whole lives, we live as a person, walking about among other human beings who also believe themselves to be a person. And that, of course, creates the essence of tribalism. There is us and there is them. Just watch any rap video that has ever been created. You'll see what I'm talking about. You see, the ego is the source of all war and conflict because its whole existence is in separation. It uses other people to validate its own existence. When you judge somebody else, you're secretly saying, oh yeah, I'm the hero and they're the villain. I'm not like those people. And that is also why we get triggered, because we say, well, why are you like this? So in our relationship with other people, we can only get triggered so long as we have a strong ego. We can only get triggered God damn it. Oh shit, it's loaded. We can only get triggered so long as we have a strong ego identity. When we get triggered by another person, we experience conflict. You did this to me. What you did triggered me. Me. We are in separation. There is you and there is me. But now we will break free from that illusion and realize that we are in fact all the same one consciousness, experiencing itself through an infinite array of different forms. There is no you, there is no me, there is no we, no others. There is only the same one energy known as consciousness or God. As Muji once said, life is a monologue. God is the only thing that is. The challenge is that we have spent our whole lives being conditioned into separation. We have such strong attachments to our ego identity that it can be tricky to let them go. But with this one spiritual practice that can be divided into 3 parts, we forever take our power back and master the art of non-reaction. You ready? First, we realize that every experience is designed specifically, exactly for our highest spiritual growth. Not kind of, exact, precisely. In every moment, in everything that we experience, there is a lesson that we are being guided toward by our higher self, by God, by life, by the universe. Second, we recognize our true nature as awareness and start letting go of our false identities, because only those identities get triggered. When we embark on the spiritual journey, one of the main practices is continuously returning to our true place as awareness, reminding ourselves all the time, whenever we get triggered out in the world, we recognize, oh, I am attached. And simply by observing our thoughts, our emotions, our experiences, we naturally create non-attachment. And with non-attachment, we increase the power of non-reaction. And so day by day, attachments fall away, and you become more and more free and at peace all the time. And lastly, we recognize that there is no such thing as separation, but we are all one consciousness experiencing itself through an infinite array of different forms. That consciousness that is awareness, that is God, that is the universe. When you realize the difficult person that you are dealing with is actually God in disguise, you don't need to react to their silliness, because that is just God's funny way of speaking to you. You don't take things so personal anymore. It is always God acting as your guru, guiding you back home, showing you the path forward. When you are free from the illusion of separation, you automatically become a master of non-reaction and become free from the suffering of your experiences. In the past 6 months, I have probably been triggered less than 10 or 15 times. And even when it happens, it doesn't last more than a few minutes. Most people get triggered many times per day. So if you want to learn more about how I've developed this power, check out this video here. Much peace and many blessings to you, my friend.